I watched Karen's sister steal a machine gun chaos. Followed, now she's jailed. The air in the Fort Ramsey Armory was thick with the scent of gun oil and steel, a place where silence carried the weight of responsibility. It was just past midnight, and the base, nestled in the scrublands of West Texas, was a ghost town except for the skeleton crew on duty. I was there, pulling a double shift, my eyes burning from staring at inventory logs. But something felt wrong, like the quiet before a bomb goes off. I'm Ethan Cole, a 27-year-old Army private with 3 years of service and a knack for noticing details others miss. I've guarded everything from fuel depots to classified tech, but nothing prepared me for the night I crossed paths with Lisa Whitaker. Lisa, 42, was Karen Whitaker's younger sister, and if Karen was a storm, Lisa was a wildfire. Karen was the loud one, always complaining. Always in someone's face. She'd been banned from base events after screaming at a colonel over wasted tax dollars. Lisa was quieter, sharper, the kind who smiled while slipping a knife in your back. She worked as a civilian logistics clerk on base, a job she'd gotten through Karen's connections. For months, I'd noticed her lingering near restricted areas, asking odd questions about weapon shipments. I'd reported it to my CO, Captain Torres, but Lisa was slick, always with a plausible excuse. Just double-checking manifests, most wrote her off as Karen's shadow, but I saw the glint in her eyes' ambition, dangerous and unchecked. That night, I was in the armory, logging M4 carbines for a training exercise. The room was a fortress, steel walls, biometric locks, cameras in every corner. I was alone, the other guard on break, when I heard a faint scrape from the rear entrance. My pulse spiked. I grabbed my radio and crept toward the sound, staying low. Through the reinforced door's window, I saw her, Lisa, in a dark jacket, jimmying the lock with a crowbar. The door gave way, and she slipped inside, moving like she'd rehearsed it. I ducked behind a crate, watching as she scanned the room. Her eyes locked on a rack of M4s, fully automatic, lethal in trained hands, catastrophic in the wrong ones. She pulled a duffel bag from her jacket and started unhooking a rifle. Her movements quick but calm. My mind raced. I could hit the alarm, but she was close to the exit. I could confront her, but she might be armed. My radio crackled softly. Backup was a call away, but I froze, paralyzed by the surreal sight of Lisa, a clerk, stealing a machine gun. "Lisa, stop," I finally shouted, stepping out, my hand on my holster. She spun, unfazed, the M4 in her grip. "Ethan, don't be stupid," she said, her voice smooth as ice. "This isn't your fight." On the floor, I saw the crowbar, smeared with blood later. I'd learned she'd knocked out a patrolling guard, Jenkins, leaving him concussed in the alley. A shattered camera sparked overhead, her handiwork to cover her tracks. "Put it down, Lisa." "You're not walking out with that," I said, but my voice wavered. She laughed softly. "You're sweet, but out of your league. This baby's worth a fortune, and I've got buyers lined up." Buyer, the word hit like a punch. Lisa wasn't just a thief, she was a trafficker. I'd overheard whispers about black market arms deals in the region, guns funneled to cartels across the border. Lisa had been playing a long game, using her access to map the armory's weaknesses. She'd bribed a maintenance worker for the door's override code, disabled cameras with a hack signal jammer, and timed her break-in for the shift change. The M4 wasn't a random grab, it was a prototype with advanced optics, worth millions to the right bidder. "Why, Lisa?" I asked, stalling, my hand inching toward the alarm. She smirked, zipping the duffel. "Why? Because I'm done scraping by while you soldiers play hero. Karen's got the noise, but I've got the brains." She stepped toward the exit, the gun slung over her shoulder. I lunged for the alarm, but she swung the crowbar, clipping my knee. Pain exploded, and I hit the floor. "Stay down, Ethan," she hissed, then bolted. I crawled to the alarm, slamming it. Sirens blared, but Lisa was gone, vanishing into the desert. My radio erupted. Jenkins was found, bleeding but alive. Captain Torres arrived, his face thunderous. You saw her and didn't stop her. He roared. I had no defense. My hesitation had let a machine gun slip into the void. The chaos that followed was a nightmare. Lisa sold the M4 to a cartel in Juarez, and within days it surfaced in a shootout that killed 14, including 2 cops. Grainy footage of the attack spread on X, the gun's distinctive optics unmistakable. Hashtags like Rear Fort Ramsey Breach trended, with posts blaming military incompetence. The Pentagon locked down the base, and I was grilled by investigators, my every move dissected. I told them everything: Lisa's questions, her access, her smug confidence. But the damage was done. The cartel used the gun in more hits, each one a stain on my conscience. Guilt gnawed at me. I replayed that night endlessly. Why hadn't I tackled her? Why hadn't I called for backup sooner? Jenkins, still recovering, wouldn't look at me. Torres didn't blame me outright, but his silence was worse. I dug into Lisa's trail, desperate to make it right. I'd kept logs of her suspicious behavior, screenshots of her late-night logins to restricted systems. I handed them to the FBI, along with a recording from my body cam, which had caught her taunting me. It wasn't enough to stop the body count, but it was a start. Lisa's downfall came 6 weeks later. The FBI traced her to a safe house in El Paso, funded by cartel cash. A sting caught her mid-deal, trying to sell another stolen rifle. The raid was live-streamed, her panicked face plastered across X as agents cuffed her. Lisa locked up trended for days, with memes of her crowbar and smug grin. The safe house yielded a laptop with her buyer list cartel leaders, rogue militias. She'd been planning to steal more, using Karen's loud distractions to cover her moves. Karen, humiliated, left town, her rants about government conspiracies ignored. Lisa faced trial for theft, assault, and trafficking. The evidence, my logs, the body cam, recovered cartel communications, was damning. She got 25 years, no parole. The M4 was recovered, but the lives lost couldn't be. Jenkins retired, his trust in the system broken. I stayed on, promoted but haunted, training harder to never freeze again. The armory got new locks, new cameras, but the scars remained: a bloodied crowbar, a stolen gun, a base shaken. At night, I'd walk the perimeter, the desert wind cold on my face. I'd failed to stop Lisa, but I'd helped cage her. It wasn't peace, just a step toward it. Fort Ramsey stood stronger, and so did I.